Whoever protected us in the mother's womb, that force or power or God, that alone is going to protect us when we are delivered off into the world. Let us make no mistake. How both of them, the son and the mother, were driven to such a disdainful plight, such a miserable plight. Uttama went hunting, killed. His mother went in search, engulfed in fire, swallowed by fire. Enjoy this earth, my dear son, its bounties, and rejoice over all the facilities and comforts that you have. Perform a number of holy sacrifices, yajnas, and give away without any kind of a stinginess a lot of dakshinas to the priests, brahmanas and the others. A king is supposed to give a lot. It cannot be like Nachiketa's father Vajasravas in the matter of giving. You have to make liberal gifts. By all this you propitiate me, and gradually you develop dispassion, gain disenchantment, disillusionment. Be devoted to me exclusively forever, then you will attain the abode I described. Not now. It will be reserved there for you. You go and join that, reach there, but only after this. That place is such that you will never return from there. It is such a wonderful abode. Dhruva, blessed by the Lord, he returned. He was going back to the palace. But he was not happy in his heart. My dear viewers, are you with me when I say this? After having seen Lord Mahavishnu, he made him come from Vaikuntha within less than 5 months. And such a close interaction took place. And Mahavishnu blessed him profusely, reserving a place right beforehand in the celestial regions, which nobody was able to access, his ancestors. And when he goes back, he had an afflicted heart. The stepmother's taunting words were still there. Because of that affliction, that torment, he was never able to seek moksha from Mahavishnu. This was his complaint and grievance. Having got a brilliant opportunity to gain moksha, to become free, to become ecstatic always, I missed that opportunity. And what was the cause? My stepmother's taunting words. I felt that they were taunting and they were inflicting me. So I wanted to be assuaged from that. He felt so bad about it. And Bhagavata describes in this manner. Aho bata mamanadmyam mandabhagyasya pashyataha bhavachhidaha padamulam gatva ayaje yadantavad. I think these verses should be written in your house. Aho bata, oh, fie upon me. Fie upon me. Unfortunate person as I am. Mama anatmyam. It's a wonderful word. Mama anatmyam. Anatmyam. What is that meaning? My indiscretion. I did not have the right discretion in me, the right viveka in me. I became deluded. Even in front of Mahavishnu. You know, this is what Vasudeva, Krishna's father, told Narada Maharshi. I propitiated Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu came in my front, stood ready to give me everything, including moksha. But I asked him, be born as my son. Mahavishnu said, okay, be born as my son. Yes, Mahavishnu was born as Krishna, only born. Vasudeva could not rear him at all, because he had told him, be born as my son. So he was born and said, take me to Vrindavan right during this midnight, in spite of the rain and the clouds. He carried him. This is the mistake I made. My son is very famous now. He is distributing liberation left and right to all the people who worship him in one manner or the other, including enemies and haters. Whereas I, being the father, am not able to get the same fruit at all. I have the feeling that I am a father and I cannot sit before my son asking him to instruct me on moksha. My parental feeling will not allow me. So I am at a loss. Please take pity on me and tell me how I can attain moksha. This is how the Navayogi Samvada. Then Narada was reminded of the conversation between King Nimi and the 9 yogis, and we are discussing the Karabhajana scene. Aho badamamanadmyam mandabhagyasya pashyataha bhavachchidaha padamulam gatva ayaje yadantavad. Disheartening. Fie upon me. See my indiscretion. Mandabhagyasya pashyataha. How unfortunate I am. Bhavachchidaha padamulam gatva. Having somehow got to the feet of Mahavishnu, which are capable of completely destroying and eliminating the worldly affliction and torment. Ayache yadantavad. I asked for a fleeting gain. Fleeting gain. Instead of asking for immortality, unceasing ecstasy for my heart, Nitya Nirandara Sukha for me, I asked for assuaging the inflicted heart of mine. This is what happened. My dear viewers, see how Sreemad Bhagavatam teaches through every episode and event that they are narrating. Every episode and event. It always lays down before us the cardinals of supreme truth, pure and wholesome devotion. What you should ask for, not like what Dhruva asked for. You always ask for what? My dear Lord, make me yours and reside in my heart forever. I don't have anything specific or particular to ask you for. I only have one general and wholesome feeling in me. Be mine and let me be yours. Have your seat in my heart. Absorb me into you. This is all what we should ask for. This one prayer is independent and it is wholesome and sufficient to fulfill everything that you want. Nevertheless, he was going back to the palace. Meanwhile, Uttanapada came to know that Dhruva's austerity was crowned with superb success. He was blessed by the Lord and he was returning to the palace. So with all preparations, everything regal splendor, he went out to the outskirts of the city, the capital city, to receive his son. So Uttanapada, after hearing it from my messenger, made an elaborate preparation to go and receive the son. Along with the queens and also Uttama, in all regal fashion, they departed. And when Dhruva was coming, he saw his father. Right then he prostrated before his father, fell at his feet. Uttanapada lifted him. After lifting him, he kissed his head many times, shedding tears, bathing him in his tears. Suriji and Sunidhi were standing close to each other. He prostrated before Sunidhi. And when he prostrated before Sunidhi, and thereafter Suriji. So Suriji was able to directly get him because Sunidhi was already prostrated before. She embraced him. After embracing him, she shed profuse tears. She blessed him with a trembling voice for a long life on this earth. And then Uttama and Dhruva embraced each other in all rivalry, equalness, freedom, fraternity and brotherhood. They were very happy. A lot of mutuality and affection was displayed in the contact. Finally, his mother, Sunidhi, caught hold of him with ineffable fondness, indescribable fondness. She felt full relief. Perhaps an iota of doubt was there lingering in her mind when she said, "Go to Upavanam, perform austerity to propitiate Lord Mahavishnu. He alone will give you the abode that you really deserve. In the palace you cannot have a relief." Of course, she meant it, but still as a mother she had an iota of doubt perhaps. So, after having seen him in such a manner, she was so happy and she embraced him with a lot of fondness, relief, All the sufferings that she had in the palace, everything was wiped off completely. She herself was not getting a right place in the palace. She was suffering. The son also was humiliated. All that completely went away. Her tears were flowing, torrentially so to say, and they wetted her breast. And the breast started secreting milk. Can you imagine? They started secreting milk. That uninhibited display of maternal affection, it's a gift of nature. I think in our Shastras, there are 2 occasions when something like this is explained. Sunidhi's breast started secreting milk in that warmth of affection. Similarly, when Kunti Devi was speaking to Karna and telling him that you are really my son, born of me, she embraced him. And then also her breast started secreting. I don't know whether I thought about it. Maybe it is an exaggerated statement, but I have to tell you something. There is something called SOS village throughout the world. In India also they have centers. They have got a mother system. In every SOS village, children are looked after and a set of children will be under the charge of a mother. Generally the children come to the SOS village in many ways. Maybe orphans are picked up by them. Or there are instances, I am told by the director, that maybe at a very odd hour in the night, somebody comes, here is a child, please look after. They never inquire into details, they take the child and start looking after. So in a distress, some child came there. And the child was entrusted to one of the mothers. Each mother will have at least 7 or 8 or 6 or 5 children. And they are completely looked after by the mothers. Every month, a certain amount of money is entrusted to the mother and she is free to purchase provisions and other needs for the children, cook food, feed them, etc. If she saves something from it, she purchases one item like a television or something else. It's a very beautiful system there. I was taken to address the mothers in the SOS village in Delhi. So, Hiralal Wanglu, who was the then Secretary General, he told me that Swamiji, there are many instances. Here is one instance, very surprising perhaps, shocking to hear. It may be appearing to be incredible, unbelievable, but listen to it. A child was entrusted to the mother and the child became sick. He was admitted to the hospital. So the doctor came and looked at the child, very weak, and looked at the mother who was standing by the side. He took a glance at both and he made a remark. Unless the child is liberally breastfed, he will not survive, he said. Only one sentence from the doctor. You have to breastfeed this child liberally and well. So look after your body and feed him well. He did not know the in and out, the whole thing, and he went away. This lady took up the message and perhaps on the 3rd day she started breastfeeding the child. It was not her child. I said, is it really true? Because this is mentioned about Kunti. But can it happen? Swamiji, it has happened. I shall show you the mother. So when I went to the SOS village, he called that mother and showed me, this is the person who did it. Now I heard it. It is mentioned here in Bhagavatam. It is mentioned in Mahabharata also. Just see. What a great moving statement it is. All women congratulated Sunidhi, saying that you have gained such a great son who has brought you the blessings of the Supreme Mahavishnu. Everybody thought that he was lost in the woods, but he has come back very safe. Everybody reached the palace. In due course of time, Uttanabhada crowned Dhruva as the king and he went to the forests. Now a question arises here. Maitreya is mentioning it, raising it. How did the palace, all royal members of the palace, undergo such a drastic transformation? How is it? It is the same Uttanabhada, the same Suruji, the same Uttama and the same Sunidhi. In the course of 5 months, the entire competition, jealousy, hatred, envy, everything disappeared. And all of them went to receive this boy. How can it happen? Then Sreemad Bhagavatam has this to convey. Please listen to this with borrowed ears. Borrowed years. Your 2 years are not sufficient. Yasya prasanno bhagavan gunair maitriadibhir gunaihi tasmai namanti bhutani nimnamapa ivaswayam. Yasya prasanno bhagavan gunair maitriadibhir gunaihi tasmai namanti bhutani nimnamapa ivaswayam. This is what he says. Yasya bhagavan prasannaha gunaihi maitriadibhir gunaihi. Whichever devotee is able to have qualities like friendship, not enmity, amiability, a lovable disposition. Whoever has qualities of friendship, sacrifice, fellow feeling, a liberal mind, an innocuous mind, a mind that is given to speak well, console people, give them whatever is right to them, never think ill of others, extend your heart to cover the entire universe, never be constricted, speak good words liberally, spare bad and hurting words. Let your mind be a repository of virtue, nobility, goodness, gracefulness. Now, yasya prasanno bhagavan, when that Bhagavan is pleased with such a person, and the person has all these qualities, tasmai namanti bhutani, all the Bhutas go in search of him and prostrate at his feet. When you become a receptacle for the Supreme Reality, the Lord's direct grace, then you are no more a human being. You become a celestial person, a divine person, an unusual person. And everybody can come to you seeking your presence. The culprit can come, the deceitful person can come, the cheating man can come, the dacoit can come. Similarly, the celebrated brahmanas and ascetics also can come. Madari vaparamyanti vishamani mridunija vishwasamiha bhutani sarvani shamashalini. This is what Vasishtha tells Sri Rama. Madari vaparamyanti vishamani mridunija. When a person has no desire whatsoever, no possessiveness at all, and no ego also, he ceases to be a human being. He is a transcendental specimen. It is the desire ingredient, the possessiveness note, the assertion of the ego that put us into trouble. If these three are attenuated and eliminated, our mind becomes a chidakasha in full. Nothing more is to be sought. So whoever is graced by Shamaguna, Shamashalini, Matari vaparamyanti vishamani mridunija. The wild animals, very cruel and wicked animals like jackal, tiger, bear, and all the wicked or cruel animals. Similarly, the gentle ones like squirrel, deer, cow, and the like. Both of them equally seek the presence of such a graceful person in whom there is no desire or possessiveness at all. Vishwasamiha bhutani, they do go to him trustfully, endearingly, with a lot of love, as if to their mother. This is what is mentioned. You know, this one verse has gone very deep into my heart. When your mind becomes pure, heart becomes pure, it becomes gentle, it becomes innocent, innocuous, beautiful, harmless, very good, benign. At that time, you are no more a human being. Such people are wooed and sought by all kinds of creatures. All kinds of creatures. Mahavishnu himself has a cobra, Anantashena, he has. And by the side he has an eagle, that Garuda. Both of them are actually enemies. But in the presence of Mahavishnu, they behave with a lot of friendliness and complimentariness. This is how a wise and a pure man will be in the presence of the mixed world. Yasya prasanno bhagavan gunair mahitriadibhir gunaihi tasmai namanti bhutani nimnamapa ivaswayam. In which manner all the beings go to him? Like water flows. When water flows where? Even the water flowing from the mountainous peaks, they finally come to the lowest level, namely the sea. Similarly, we have to be humble. We must have humility. No competition, no fight, nothing. When you are like that, like water flowing down to the lowest level, all the people will come to you in search of you. Tasmai namanti bhutani nimna mapa iva swayam. With no provocation, with no motivation, automatically, irresistibly, lovingly, by virtue of their own feelings and inspiration they come. Where from did we start? Tameva vatsashraya bhrutya vatsalam mumukshubhir mrigyapada abja paddhatim ananya bhave nija dharma bhavide manasya vasthapya bhajasva purusham. Now, what is the palace he left? He left a very troublesome and tormenting palace. And the same palace he has now come back to. But it is actually revealing an altogether different picture. Previously, if it was unfriendly, inimical and belligerent, now it is flowing with love, affection and all-inclusiveness. So much of difference is there. This is what the mother said. Tameva vatsashraya bhrutya vatsalam. You go and worship that Bhritya Vatsala. God who is affectionate to his devotees. My dear son, go and worship him. Manasya avasthapya bhajasva purusham. Install him in your heart. Keep him in your heart and worship him. That is what literally Dhruva did. That is why he was able to see that radiant form, that brilliant form, that scintillating form, Rupa of Mahavishnu. And when he came back, it is all a different one. Why did I say this? Dhyayam sada paribhavagnam abhishtadoham. My dear viewers, you should tell me and write to me and speak to me. What? Whether Lord, the Supreme Reality, that Paramakalyana Nidhi, the treasure of supreme felicity, Lord Hari, he is really an abhishtadoha. Is he one who will fulfill the wish of his devotee? Whatever the young Dhruva suffered from, as a result of his going and wanting to sit on the lap of his father, the utter denial, the utter ridicule, the utter derision, the insinuating manner in which the stepmother spoke, all that completely relieved. And we have an altogether blessed and a beautifully promising prince before us now, a beloved of all the members of the polis. This is how Mahavishnu fulfills even the least wishes of a true and earnest devotee. Where are we now? We are in the Mukti-skandham of Sreemad Bhaagavatam. In other words, the 11th one. There the primary and the sole subject is nothing but liberation, liberation and liberation. What does it mean? It can mean absolute freedom of the mind from the shackles the mind and the intelligence together spin and weave by virtue of delusion. It can also mean the mind being capable of enjoying constantly an uninterrupted ecstasy of the soul. This is the meaning of liberation. Never misunderstand it. Do not think that liberation is escape from further birth. You will not have to enter into a mother's womb after we shed the body this time, at the end. That is not the meaning of liberation. In Sanskrit we call it Nitya Nirantara Sukha. It is actually Sukha, comfort, happiness, delight and ecstasy of an incessant, unbroken nature. Now this is the subject of discussion of the 11th skandha, the Mukti-skandham of Sreemad Bhagavatam. I branched off